All right, now I want to talk about this model of ignorance to education in regards to study abroad and how it works. The first time just about any student ever comes into a study abroad advisor for advisement, they usually start out not knowing very much about study abroad. Because when was the last time you had a class on how to travel? When was the last time you had a class on how to plan out a trip for a certain amount of time? Most likely it was never. So it's something that most people start out ignorant about. And so what you've got to do is, instead of saying ignorant or staying ignorant, you've got to start moving toward being educated. So how do you do that? Well, you just start asking questions. And you start finding resources to help you. So some of the resources are we're going to use AA for academic advisor, your study abroad advisor, and we'll say your financial aid advisor. You're going to walk in not knowing exactly what you're going to find. You're going to walk in the door of each of these different advisors not knowing what you're doing, and they're going to help you move maybe from a place of right here on the continuum to maybe right there with different questions, and you're going to be able to use them. So as you get putting everything together and putting the pieces of your trip and taking steps forward, as you're looking to see if travel's right for you, you're going to move this way. But say you get all the way over here, say you're in country already, and you're really learning about traveling and everything, and you run into a problem. What do? You go back here and you ask one of your advisors about how do I do this. And so it doesn't matter how far on this you get, you're still probably going to need help at some point. So get used to asking questions. Get used to going back here and saying, I don't really know what I have to do in this particular moment. How do I face this? And this is really how the process works with just about anything in life. And with study abroad, it's one of the most fun, rewarding, and the biggest reasons that I believe that it's worth doing is because you get to grow so much. And I still remember a lot of my students who would come in and they'd come in going, I have no idea what I'm doing, and kind of fearful of admitting that to me and thinking that they really feeling stupid when it wasn't really that at all. And I love watching them as I would work with them to help them, to show them who they needed to go to, the different resources, and the different questions that they needed to ask, start to move this way. And then they get out, and they get on the trip, and then they come back, and they're definitely over here, and they're a completely different person. The confidence level of most of these students is just through the roof from the first time when I saw them for the first general advisement appointment. So that is really what you're looking to do as a student, is just to move from here to there. And the reward and the payoff is the fact that you're going to be independent. And you're going to have solved problems. And you're going to be more confident in your abilities to navigate the world around you and whatever you do, because you've been to a foreign country. You'll also have asked interesting questions that have taught you different things, and that's going to be part of your education. But you've got to have the courage to move from here in this direction to get to the place where you can understand what it takes to plan a trip and what it takes to travel for a semester and learn in a foreign country. Because when you're in country, you're going to move to this many, many times. In ¿Dónde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? You're going to move from this to this. Hopefully you move there fairly quickly, because it's really important that you get to the bathroom. But you're going to do this many, many times in a day. So if you stop thinking in the fact of, hey, smart or stupid, if you start thinking, oh, I'm ignorant, so I need to educate myself, I need to ask questions of people who know, and sometimes it's just locals standing there about where's the bathroom. If you can get over that fear of being ignorant and start moving in this direction, it'll change your life.